Hello, and welcome back. I have a fun idea for today, and that's to play as the one country that I always saw as kind of out of place. County of Bronzehill, led, of course, by not a normal inhabitant of this world. There aren't that many, I think only 2 dog nations. So at first I was extremely confused about its existence, but I've been recommended Bronzehill for a long time. There are other countries that I've been recommended more, but Bronzehill is probably the one that I've been recommended from 6 months ago to now, somewhat consistently. So it's about time that I give Bronzehill a good try. So that's exactly what we'll be doing today. Yeah, you also may have noticed that we're not playing just one mod today. There's a special text mod that makes all the text look like it's from the 1500s. Pretty interesting, I would say. I don't think it's going to be a staple of the channel, but I guess it's kind of cool, at least for once. Also, Darker Oceans mod, which is one of my favorites. I just never enable it. I really could not tell you why. And a Recall Volunteers mod, which is cool. It makes sense why they won't allow you to recall volunteers, considering that you could like do tricky things with like, oh, you get encircled, recall volunteer, something like that. But I think it's good, and you can trust me. Everything's on video. I'm going to get caught if I try any tricky business like that. I don't think I ever send volunteers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're also going to go with finishing the Grover V Industrial Park. Gives us some civilian factories. Over here, we just kind of have military stuff, so that can be ignored. For now, at least. And research, normal stuff. I'm not doing anything weird today. And logically, we should put our troops on the border with like Hellquill or something. There's of course going to be no issues within the Empire that we're going to have to worry about. It's a very logical conclusion. Ah, and the Emperor's best friends. How nice to have a good relationship with the Emperor. He stops first on his Imperial Railway tour right here. How special and wholesome at the end too. When the time came for Grover to leave, he stopped before embarking on his train and turned towards Ignatius. Every dog looked at him, expecting him to speak, and noticing that he seemed somewhat sad. Yet he said nothing and simply embraced Ignatius before leaving. Could the Emperor ever hide something from us? That was very wholesome. It was nice. So, and a messenger in the night, Count Ignatius' paw gripped tightly into his wooden throne. There had to be some mistake, or perhaps this was just some cruel joke. He stared down at the Griffin messenger, who remained bowed at the foot of his throne. He wore a simple black cloak held around him by an imperial brooch, one given out by the Emperor himself. The pit that had opened in his stomach only grew wider. It couldn't be true, it just couldn't. Say it again, he said. His throat was dry, and each word was a painful, breathless gasp. My lord, the messenger said, the Emperor, he's dead. The word hung in Count Ignatius's mind like a ball in flight. The throne creaked under his grip. No, it couldn't be true. How could the Emperor have died? He was always there, just like the sun and the moon. Without him, there would be no world. There would be no light, no beauty, no joy. How could there be without him? So, kind of, I'm getting the interpretation that the dogs are very loyal figures. Like, the Emperor is kind of like what a human master would be to, like, their pet dog. I'm kind of getting the ripple effect of this central point of this happening. So yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, this is definitely more traumatic than any of the other countries I've played so far in the Hearthland. Actually, I only think I've played 1. Or 2. I think I've only played Yale. Minus 25% stability, though. That's kind of insane. Oh no, it keeps getting worse, people. People just keep suffering because of this. It's hard for them. The end of an era. Everything is just kind of shutting down for now. This is traumatic. It's kind of like what's going on in real life, you know? Okay, so apparently we've made a glorious sculpture to commemorate Grover's life, to help ease up the situation. We can either display it in our capital, or we can send it to Griffonheim as a gift to, of course, Grover VI. And I think that's what we have to do. It's the good thing to do. If anybody needs the help, he does. And they accept the gift, and it's a good thing we did. The other option only gave 3% stability, but hey, the real reason I did this was because I was just trying to do the right thing. I was trying to be a good person. I was trying to be one of the good people. And of course it gave us an extra 2% stability and 25 political power, and that's just what happens when you're one of the good people. And now in this struggling bad time, we can either decide to nationalize kind of the Grover the Fifth industrial park, you know, start seizing those means of production, or we can prop up the industrial park, and I think that's much better. This one just increases communism and fires an event. This one gives 10% construction speed, which is decent. That's actually really good. Wow, we have actually a lot of advisors. Butch, wow. Ironically, the one advisor we're choosing is like the one Griffin advisor. All the other ones that we have unlocked right now are kind of bad, so all we can really get is the captain of industry, even though our industry is really too small to benefit from that. The end of a lineage. Count Ignatius has struggled to keep it together for weeks now, ever since the news of the Emperor's death has torn the world apart, and he sat listlessly behind his desk, shuffling papers back and forth when the messenger came storming in the door, a telegram in his hand, and gasping as if he had been rushing all the way here. Sir, he panted, holding out the telegram. News from Griffenheim. Someone. The dog couldn't say more, and Ignatius slowly took the letter, staring at the short message. He blinked, unable to understand the words at first. He read it over and over, as if it was written in a different language, but soon the paper fell from his paw. A coup, and the crown prince had been. He unsteadily stood up, stumbling away from the desk. It couldn't be. The letter had to be wrong. It couldn't be. Not that too. He screamed, howling in despair as he slammed his paw against the wall, pounding it furiously as he slowly sank down to his knees, whining incoherently. He didn't even comprehend what was going on as 2 guards came into the room, pulling him away from the wall as he kept slamming his now bleeding paw into it, nor could he understand them when they tried to reach through to him. Oh no. So yes, something's definitely not going so well in the Empire today. We get national spirit, the crisis, a military coup in the Empire, a certain Mr. Lord Protector Downclaw guy once again taken over. This happens too often in these series, and it seems to only bring much despair. So we have a new focus streak that appears because of it. First grief, then anger, following our path to the dark side. Yes, now we must rally the hounds. We must build up their spirit to fight, their will to fight. We must rally the Griffins too. We must bring everybody into this fight to liberate Griffenheim from the traitor. The traitor is Downclaw. We will now unite the industries, get some military and civilian factories, and unite the brightest minds. We're gonna have to do whatever it takes to save this empire, to save any last chance we have of unity. So it is our choice. We can choose a path of worship of the Emperor, the cult of the Emperor, where we worship the once great ruler. We can be the glorious good guys and put the Winston Churchill figure in power. He will fight for the Empress and her return to power. Well, to become the Empress, I guess I should say, because the current Duchess. The only option, it may be an extreme option, but I think it's the only option that can ensure peace forever. Whoever we turn this thing over to, there's no telling what they're gonna do with it. Who knows if they'll be successful, or who knows if they'll just let something like this slip in between the cracks. I really only see one way, and that way is a new empire. An empire that we can protect much more efficiently. If you know what I'm alluding to, we are going to put in a Mr. Loudbark into power. Nice new flag, Rufus Loudbark. I think he can do great things for this country. We'll first memorialize the fallen heroes. Okay, so we rushed some focuses, got a 5th research slot, and we'll be fixing some more of our research issues soon. But yeah, it's very useful. We research things very slowly at the moment, so we kind of need to get caught up. We need to take Griffenheim for ourselves. That's our one goal. Okay, now we're doing this focus troll hounds. Even if it takes the lives of our fellow dogs, I'll not stop until we have the strongest of dogs. Wait, what exactly is this Project Sacrifice? Is this like some ritual thing? No, I don't know what forces we're invoking. No, it's like a support company. It adds defense, breakthrough, soft attack, hard attack, HP and piercing, but uses more supply, decreases organization. Huh, it's interesting. Guess I'll add it. Oh, this is actually a pretty cool thing. by doing this focus, you can attract foreign investments. So like by doing these decisions, you can get a civilian factory, military factory, an event, and steel. I think we'll start off with the civilian factory, then the steel, and then the military factory, so we can do something with the steel. Okay, well, Katerin is at war with the Empire, and we can't risk them losing or winning and taking Griffonheim, so I think that's our call to enter this battleground before the Herzschmerz, but we must do what we have to do. And just as a backup, in case our war participation isn't high enough, we'll start a justification against Katerin, too. Might keep them on edge, but it'll make sure that our interests are best served and they don't get to annex and control Griffonheim quite yet, even if they do have a lot of war support. Oh no, they might actually end up falling, though. That would be unfortunate. Okay, Operation Herzschmerz is in the works, but we're going to declare this war early. We can't let Katerin be getting all the war score. If we encircle divisions and then get all of the casualties and stuff, that should be enough to give us a lot of war participation. Oh wow, we've already got more war participation. I guess we can just end the war whenever we can. There we go. We snuck into their final capital and we have avenged the Grovers. I rest my case, but yet we still can't just assume that things are going to be perfectly fine now. We definitely have to secure this area up from more external threats. Dawnclaw was just one. There are others that pose similar, if not greater, threats. So we're still working on making this stuff a core. We have a nice focus here to seize the city for ourselves, and then nationalize things and create maybe an empire, possibly. I'll have to decide if I want to create an empire later, but for now we will begin, we'll begin protecting our good friends. We can't let such a thing happen to them that happened to the Emperor. And now that we have Griffonheim, we can also make ourselves a developed science base too. Yep, and we've taken Griffonheim for ourselves. We should rename it. We should have a decision to rename it or something. Doggoheim. We annex Katerin too, not too difficult. Angryverse seems pretty strong, but I'm sure we can also take them out. The main thing I'm trusting in is our overwhelming air power. We actually probably need another air base to actually utilize it all, but... There we are, the Griffonian Empire. Kind of a cursed name at this point, but... There we go, another nation down. Anyway, that's cool. I think that's about it for today. Still doesn't really feel like right thing happened. Maybe we should have done the right path. Well, we did the right path. I mean, like the middle path, which is the good path. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.